Tonight's headlines are brought to you by McDonald's.
Good evening, Commonwealth, and thanks for watching the Channel 2 News. I am Sally Limis. Let's take a look at tonight's top stories. 2 pounds of drugs mailed from California is intercepted at the post office. Also tonight, a drive-through drugstore is coming soon to the hospital. And a first-time author examines life and shifts in the Mariana Islands. In sports, it's V-ball for the youngsters at the Oliai Track and Field. Stay with us, these stories and more are up next.
What's the move?
And there you have it, McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich. From the makers of the world's most stolen fries. The juicy chicken sandwich from the place that offers extra napkins for a reason. The tender chicken sandwich from the creators of a sandwich phenomenon. So you won't just be biting into a chicken sandwich, you'll be biting into McDonald's new crispy, juicy, tender chicken sandwich. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Half a day to the WAMI and good evening, Commonwealth. Today is Monday, January 30, 2023. Topping tonight's newscast is the first drug bust of the year. Customs officers intercept over 2 pounds of crystal meth at the Chalankanoa Post Office. The suspect has been arrested and faces federal charges. It's the first major drug bust of 2023. Speaking at a press conference this morning, Customs and Biosecurity Director Joe Moffness announces the seizure of 2.2 pounds of crystal methamphetamine, also known as ice, during a routine inspection at the Chalankanoa Post Office. Moffness says the package was sent from California, which contained the drugs wrapped in a towel. The suspect has been arrested.
A Chinese national was there to pick up the package, and immediately after the discovery, the Chinese national was arrested.
The defendant is Bing Lee, who is being charged with count 1, possession with intent to distribute a controlled substance. According to court documents, Lee initially told DEA officers that he was not expecting a package, did not know who sent the package, or what was in the package. The defendant also said he's never been to the post office before. Investigators then informed Lee that he was seen at the post office by customs officers 3 weeks ago. Moments later, Lee admitted to officers that he was added to a Chinese WeChat by Saipan Bai Shitong and was told he would be sent a good amount of money if he picks up a package.
We're committed to establishing a strong partnership with local and federal law enforcement agencies, and to the many our partners with the or stakeholders with the community, both business and the private communities. This interception or incident serves as a reminder of the ongoing efforts to combat the illegal drug trade and the dangers of these substances in our communities. Again, together with our partners, we remain vigilant in our efforts to prevent the illegal flow of drugs and other contraband into the CNMI. We will continue to work with our partners, and I'm so grateful, and I appreciate the assistance also of the Department of Public Safety and the Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, the U.S. Postal Service, and the U.S. Postal Inspector Service for assisting us in this matter.
Today's street value is $300 for 1 gram of ice. The seized package contained approximately 1,048 grams, which is estimated to be worth over $314,000.
Ice is still the drug of choice here on the island, you know. So for some reason, we still, you know, I hope we can stop, you know, and have all the users treated or cure all the users, so the demand for this, you know, dangerous drugs is over or ceased. Right now, it's still the drug of choice. But again, we're still, you know, fighting hard. We're still vigilant. We're still building capacities to ensure that our borders are safe. Airport, seaport, post office, you know, are safe, and we'll try our best. We'll try our very best to prevent this drugs or any contraband to enter the CNMI.
Acting Finance Secretary Tracy Norita extends her appreciation to all the officers involved in this operation, including federal partners as well.
Drugs that enter our ports end up in our communities and in our homes, and it's because of these law enforcement officers that we keep drugs off our street. And so we are very grateful for their service to our community and for doing a job well done.
Also present in this morning's press conference is Public Safety Assistant Chief of Police Lawrence Camacho.
Customs has jurisdiction over this. They're at the front door. What happens if it leaves our front door and goes out to the community? It's going to take a little bit more time, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Then we come in once it's distributed. And we want to prevent that, and I give kudos to Customs that they caught that in our front door before we have to take, it takes time to investigate these narcotics cases.
Mofnas also mentioned there is still a pending case involving over 4 pounds of smuggled meth into the CNMI. Mofnas says he is unable to release any details of the case at this time. The Fiscal Response Team digs into financial records from over 6 years ago. Here is an update. The Fiscal Response Team continues their exploration into the CNMI finances to determine the true fiscal state of the NMI government. Senator Karina Magofnia says the team is looking at a great deal of transactions from multiple accounts, which is one of the reasons for taking a little longer than expected.
Just review the accounts, sift through it thoroughly, identify them, and go from there. But we aim to have the reconciliations done by hopefully the end of this month, if not next month. We are planning to do a revised budget for fiscal year 2023, so that's very crucial that reconciliation is done before we move forward with anything.
The team was formed about 2 weeks ago and was tasked to reconcile all ARPA accounts and look into the disaster-related reimbursements.
The team is working with Homeland Security and the Public Assistance Office to work on all those reimbursements going back all the way from Sodalor to Mangkut to U2 and now COVID. But a lot of our focus right now is for Sodalor because it's nearing expiration and because of statute of limitation. We want to make sure that we try and get all those monies back that we've already spent out of the coffers, right?
Once accurate and valid numbers are determined, the next step will be to revise the fiscal year budget for 2023. According to Magofnia, the team meets every Friday for a weekly report.
The weekly meetings are just to kind of get updates from the finance team and then with the legislature. But we work throughout the week, so We want to try and get this done as soon as possible. I know there's a lot of concerns out there. People, are curious what's going on, and it's our responsibility to get those things done.
The fiscal response team is comprised of members from the Senate, House, and Department of Finance. Picking up medication may be a lot easier with a drive-through pharmacy underway.
2, 3.
Hospital officials and members of the 23rd Legislature broke ground on a construction project that will build an outpatient pharmacy drive-through at the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation. CHCC's Chief Executive Officer Esther Muñoz says this project came out of the plan to ensure the care of staff and patients.
During the COVID response, we were seeing patients or were really afraid to come to the pharmacy and get their medication. And so we also know the parking situation here in the hospital, right? So it was really essential for us to figure out a way and how to make it happen, how to make sure that patients really access their medication. If you don't have access to the medication, what happens is usually basically go to the ER, and that's where we're talking about the revolving door, right? We want to be able to make sure that they don't have to come back and get their medication only through clinics or through the ER. So this project was for us necessary, again, to protect our staff and to protect the patients and to, with the social distancing situation, right?
The drive-through pharmacy would also serve as a storage extension for medication.
So one of the things about the pharmacy is that it has the inpatient side and the outpatient side. And as patients are growing, we have increased the number of patients in oncology, for example. We used to be treating patients maybe like just less than 100. Now we're treating patients over 500. And so the oncology medication has increased. The dialysis medications has increased. So we need to be able to store them. We need to make sure that we have access to supply when patients need it, and the only way to do that is to open it up, and we thought, well, it also helps out with the drive-through.
The project is priced at $1.3 million and is fully funded by the U.S. Department of Interior. R&V Construction is the contractor.
These funds will help CHCC's pharmacy in providing medication, vaccines, as part of critical health services to all our patients in the CNMI.
Patients will be able to call in advance to get their medication ready for pickup. The drive-through pharmacy will be placed near the main entrance, and the traffic system will soon be one-way. The project is expected to reach completion by September 30, 2023. The CNMI Emergency Operations Center State Warning Point informs the general public of a 3-day military training in the Northern Islands. EOC, in conjunction with the U.S. Naval Forces Marianas Guam, announces that the military will conduct training at the Farallon de Mendanilla and Warning Area 11 and 13. The dates and times are as follows: Tuesday, January 31, Wednesday, February 1st, and Thursday, February 2nd at 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. and then again at 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Marine are advised to remain clear 12 nautical miles around Farallon de Mendanilla for the duration of the event and to monitor. The U.S. Coast Guard broadcasts notice to mariners for advisories. Governor Arnold Palacios also advises the general public, especially fishermen, commercial pilots, and marine tour operators, to stay away from these areas. For any questions or concerns, you can call 670-237-8000. All right, coming up, we introduce to you one of the cabinet members under the Palacios-Apatang administration. Stay tuned.
Fast, fun, and easy. That's how your home Wi-Fi should be. So start with an internet plan that fits your budget. Introducing your home Wi-Fi starter pack, also known as WISP. Enjoy up to 25 megabits per second for as low as $35 a month, plus a free router with your wireless subscription. That's hours of movies, games, social media, and more endless fun. Get your Wi-Fi starter pack today only at Docomo Pacific. Better together. Additional conditions may apply.
At one of Saipan's beaches, this mother lays about 100 eggs under the cover of darkness. She hides her nest as best she can and then slowly makes her way back to the ocean. The eggs hatch and the babies head for the sea, where they will face a daily dose of danger. Just 1 in 1,000 will make it to adulthood. Those that do will one day lay their own eggs. Sea turtles are protected under CNMI law. If you see one that is stranded or if you see illegal activity, call the hotline at 287-8537.
It's okay to take a friend or parent's medication. It came from a doctor, right?
Using someone's prescription is really risky. Taking any drugs for which you have not been medically screened is not only dangerous, but taking an opioid that was not prescribed for you is also illegal. Never borrow and never share prescribed medication. Your life and your loved one's life could depend on it. Talk to your doctor about prescribed opioids. Never mix with alcohol, and remember, never borrow, never share. It only takes a little to lose a lot.
This project was supported by a grant from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation. Contents are solely the responsibility of CHCC and do not necessarily represent the official views of the CDC or the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Welcome back to the Channel 2 News. A former police officer is chosen to lead the CNMI Youth Affairs Office. Delbert Pua is the new Special Assistant for the CNMI Youth Affairs Office. Pua is a former Youth Congress Senator who served 2 terms, with one as the Vice Speaker. Pua was also an active student in JROTC, STUCO, and several school clubs. His background career is in law enforcement, and Pua recently ran in the 2022 general election for the House of Representatives. After his defeat, Pua decided to apply for the new position.
I was encouraged by some of this youth affairs staff that approaches me, that they needed me and they needed my expertise. That is why I submitted a resume, and I did. I was caught by surprise on January 24 because I didn't know that I was going to be the special assistant at that very moment. And you know, coming from a law enforcement background, I kind of miss what I'm doing. But this is a new opportunity to me. Youth affairs and the youth programs is no stranger to me. So I will continue working with our leaders and our youth of the CNMI.
The new Special Assistant tells us his vision for the youth affairs.
My vision when I came in as the Special Assistant for Youth Affairs is to start reaching out to our community, most especially the parents, because we would love to offer more programs for our children, not only to our children, but to our high school as well. As of last week, the Youth Affairs has been conducting an after-school program, and I encourage the parents to bring their kids in. Right now, we're building a relationship with DYS and the Joteng Kizo Library to collaborate so that way we can able to share the resources that we have.
One difficult task Pua was faced with immediately after taking office was the termination of ARPA-funded personnel.
And we are trying our very much best to build a relationship with the Acting Secretary of Labor to see if there's any job opportunity program for these displaced employees, so that way we can able to reach out and give them something to do while because some of them are, you know, they just started, they have a newborn baby, and you know, and I'm looking ahead of that. I have those behind my head, and I also offer them that if they're unable to land a job at the private sector, my door's always welcome for a letter of recommendations.
A new book and a new look at Island Life is available for pre-order now through the University of Guam Press. An NMC professor is behind the project. Our Chris Nelson has more.
A decade ago, Yanni Burrell and his wife were in New York, and they were looking to make a shift out of the city for their young family.
The first job I came across was a posting for an instructor at the college.
It was a match. They made the move with the 7-week-old in tow, and their family has since embraced island life. Yanni dove into his new teaching position and quickly helped shape the literary culture at NMC. Currently teaches speech, English, literature, and more. 7 years ago, with the support of the Humanities Council, he began a project that would capture and examine a collection of literary snapshots of our chain of islands and island communities.
The goal was to provide a sort of examination or inspection of life in the Marianas today. That was something that we felt was necessary when we reviewed the literature on the region. There was lots of historical scholarly work on the region, lots of anthropological work, ethnographic work, but not a ton that looked at just life, culture, and also not a ton that was necessarily contemporary.
The finished product is called a Marianas Mosaic. The cover illustrates it well. The islands have texture, uniqueness, and color. But the real treasures are inside. The multi-year writing and editing process was delayed, but also influenced by a super typhoon, global pandemic, a damaged campus, and a shift to virtual learning.
First and foremost, it's very diverse. It's very community-oriented, and you know, I had suspicions of that, or before even starting the book, just having lived here for a few years already. But certainly, it really brought that home. It really made me appreciate how community-oriented the Marianas is, and also how I don't know if welcoming is the right word, but sort of warm-hearted. You know, the people and the cultures here, they all seem to get along very well. There's smaller communities, and then there's the larger community that is the Marianas, and it's kind of like a mosaic, right? Where all the pieces of a mosaic sort of work together. They're all different pieces, but they all nevertheless come together to make this very, very beautiful piece of artwork, and that's certainly something that I learned about life in the Marianas.
This Friday, the author and NMC will officially launch the book with a gathering at the CNMI Museum, putting an exclamation point on a project that has a very special meaning.
I can't say that there's another place like the Marianas. There are places that share certain characteristics, right? You've got, in the Caribbean, there's obviously islands, island life, even islands that are dealing with colonialism and post-colonialism, dealing with larger powers sort of directing their dynamics, but not necessarily the same as here. And so no, I haven't, and same thing with, you know, we are a relatively small community, depending on how you measure it, how you count it. Just here in the CNMI, we've got 50,000 people or so living here. I've lived in small towns, and again, some of the values are similar, right? That oftentimes small towns are very close knit. Everybody knows everybody else's business, those sorts of things. But again, just all of the unique factors at play here, frankly, make the Marianas a place that I've never encountered before.
Chris Nelson for the Channel 2 News.
All right, folks, don't go anywhere. We have sports up next.
Need a new phone? Trade in now and get up to $500 off our best 5G devices. Trade in your older phone in any condition and step up to better savings and speeds only our 5G network can provide. Check out our website and catch up on the best mobile experience. Trade in now. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Hey, golfers, come north and practice your game at the Marianas Driving Range. New Year's local specials. 10-piece coupon books available for just $60. That's a $10 savings. Want to get really good? Come work on your swing every day for just $99 per month. It's our practice pass and you're going to love it. Grab your passes and go straight to the range. You can social distance and chip all at the same time, and the views are free. Reserve now at marianastrekking.com. You can pay online, open 7 days a week.
The Tan Su Lin Foundation promotes the culture of giving back. The foundation and its generous partners are committed to supporting programs that include health, education, and sports. Initiatives that promote arts and culture, the environment, and tourism will benefit our community and our residents. Giving back and making a difference will help ensure that the island paradise we call home will be a better place to live.
Good morning, Kiko. I am here at Docomo Wallarai branch. The Docomo staff here are super helpful with my appointment. They take good care of me in just a few minutes. Thank you so much for helping me out downloading and using the Skip Lino app. I can take care of all my Docomo needs. No need to wait in line with the Skip Lino app. We love you, Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Tonight's sports brought to you in part by Tan Holdings through the Tan Su Lin Foundation, making communities a better place to live.
Buenas sports fans.
The public school system, with the help of the Northern Mariana Islands Volleyball Association, hosted the Co-ed Volleyball League on Friday. Let's take a look. 9 schools participated in the opening of the 4th, 5th grade co-ed division of the PSS Interscholastic Volleyball League on Friday at the Oleai Sports Complex. Coblerville Team Number 2 and Tinian Elementary dominated the games by winning 3 games each against their opponents. Tinian Elementary School's first game against Saipan Community School was a close fight, but Tinian managed to control the ball and won the game 21-16. Their second game is an easy win against Grace Christian Academy with a score of 21-1 from GCA. Tinian's third consecutive win was against San Vicente Elementary School. San Vicente played very well but couldn't keep up with Tinian, the score 21-16. Tinian then faced San Apollo Elementary School of Rhoda for their 4th game. Both teams played very well, but the Colts failed and lost to San Apollo. Tinian Elementary School roster consists of Lance O'Don, Francisco Costru, Joseph Cruz, Nizea de la Cruz, Marthonia Erickson, Thomas Erickson, Hosnara Hossein, Ignacio Kyoshi, Francisco Moses, Anita Moses, Chat Palacios, Tishawn Regis, James Spears, and Josie Torres. Meanwhile, the team of Coblerville Elementary School Number 2 faced Saipan Community School in their first match. Coblerville won the game 21-10. Their second game was against San Vicente, and it was an easy win for them as well, with a score of 21-4. Their third and final game was against Saipan Community School. It was a win without a fight for Coblerville after SCS forfeited the game. The roster for Coblerville Elementary is Corey Chaikamujar, Aliosos Fitio, Dominic Mendiola, Solly Evans, Keanu Ariola, Leilon Metal, Kaizea Romaket, Ethan Suda, Ryan Tankoy, Crystal Ilagas, Rina Camacho, Saborna Shaq, Limia Macaronas, and Julianne Metal.
Hi, I'm Dre, one of the personal trainers here at Ghost Gym, and today I want to go over some exercises that you can easily apply into your current exercise program. Now I have here with me Vince, and he's going to be demoing some of those exercises. Now the first one today is going to be a one-arm dumbbell row. Before I have Vince here execute a few reps, what we want to remember with virtually any exercise is your setup. If you start in a bad position, it's not going to look good, and it's certainly not going to feel good. So a common mistake with here is obviously a rounded upper back, and as you can see, he's not very rigid or stable. So what we're gonna do is correct that just a little bit. So his supporting arm and his leg that's supported on the bench as well we wanna lock that in. Open up that leg a little bit to allow for a better path on that dumbbell. With the elbows coming up way too high, you can see the shoulders riding forward, and that's not what we want. So ideally, what you wanna think about is pulling with your elbows and stopping right at the midline of your body. So in this position right here, you can feel his entire upper back along with his core.
And for your KSPN weather report, mostly sunny with isolated showers, east southeast wind 10 to 14 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy with isolated showers, east wind 7 to 13 miles per hour. High 87, low 74, humidity at 85%. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with isolated showers, east wind 8 to 13 miles per hour. High 86, low 75. Here's a coastal hazard message from the National Weather Service in Teeds and Guam. High risk of rip currents until 6 a.m. tomorrow. Dangerous rip currents on the east-facing reefs of the Mariana Islands through late tonight. Rip currents can sweep even the best swimmers away from shore into deeper water. For the marine forecast, gentle to moderate trade winds will continue through Tuesday, then build to moderate to fresh through Thursday, still expecting seas 5 to 8 feet for the better part of today. These will persist through Tuesday, then build sharply, reaching 8 to 10 feet by Wednesday. East wind 10 to 15 knots, wind waves 2 to 3 feet, east swell 5 to 7 feet, and the north 3 feet. Sunrise will be at 6:46 a.m., high tide at 1:54 p.m., low tide 9:55 p.m., and the sunset 6:14 p.m. And there you have it, folks. That is your Monday edition of the news, sports, and weather here in the Marianas. Be sure to tune in to Wednesday as we have more news to deliver.